Leasing over the years has kind of gotten a bad reputation, and that most people don't know what it's all about. And all it is just an alternative to buying a new car. You can buy a car for $40,000, have it for 4 or 5 years, and own the vehicle at the end. What leasing is very similar to renting it. Businesses have leased for years, and this is a form of a purchase where there are more deductions available, there are more write-offs available, and if you were to talk to a bookkeeper or an accountant, they would speak very highly of leasing because you're paying for just what you use. The idea of leasing has just become more popular with the public because of the higher price of vehicles. You can drive more car for less money. As an example, if you take a $40,000 new vehicle, you want to buy that vehicle, your payment would be $800 a month. On a lease, your payment would be, say, $350 a month. These are just approximate numbers. And what the leasing does is it affords you to buy or drive more vehicle for a lesser monthly payment. And it's an alternative to buying. It's not for everyone because there are limits and guidelines that are set up with the lease. Businesses, have done it for years because accounting and bookkeeping, it pays out. There are more deductions for businesses, but it's becoming more and more popular with individuals and the public. With the price of new cars usually going up every year, it affords a customer who has a budget set up of a certain amount of money per month to drive more vehicle than they would if they didn't. Again, if you use a $40,000 vehicle, we're going to guarantee the future value of that at $21,000. And that is the difference between the selling price of the vehicle and what the residual value is, or what the estimate of that vehicle to be worth 3 years from now. That's a typical term of a lease, 3 years. And you would pay on that amount, the difference between 40 and 20. And that's why your lease payment is less than if you buy it, because you're paying from $40,000 to zero. One nice thing also, at the end of the lease, you have the option of purchasing the vehicle or just simply turning the keys back into the dealership and walking away, buying or leasing another vehicle. There are different guidelines that you follow with leasing because there are mileage limits that you would put on a leased vehicle versus a purchase. Mainly because the value of that vehicle 3 years from now is based on a certain amount of miles. The annual average driver is 15,000 miles a year. So that's how a typical lease is set up. So at the end of 3 years, you would have 45,000 miles on the vehicle. If you drive a lot, if you drive a little, the lease payment or the lease structure can be set up for that. You can always trade in a vehicle. It's no different than if you wanted to purchase the vehicle. The value of your trade-in would be used as a down payment on the lease. The more the vehicle's worth, the more would be taken off the lease. In many instances, the lease is calculated on $2,000 to $1,500 down. Again, let's use the example of a $40,000 vehicle that we have here on the lot, and your trade-in value was $10,000. You could use $2,000 or $3,000 of the value of that trade-in, and we could cut you back a check for the difference. In a perfect world, I always would describe that I want to get into leasing, I want to lease another vehicle in 2 or 3 years, put $2,000 down in a 3-year CD, and then you'll have down payment money for the next time you come in. I talk to so many customers who maybe would take a 5, 6, 7 year loan out to buy a vehicle, and they want to trade it in 3 years. And it's very hard to trade a vehicle that is not worth what is owed to the bank. So leasing is just an alternative to buying. It isn't for everyone, but the biggest advantage is you're paying for just what you use over that 2-3 year lease payment, and accountants have the ability to write that vehicle down either on a monthly depreciation or on a yearly depreciation. If you do have any other questions, I invite you to stop by, give us a call. We have a terrific lineup of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram products here at Burd. You can lease any vehicle. I would be more than happy to sit down and compare a lease versus a purchase. It may not be for you, but I'm finding more and more the advantages of leasing to the public.